regardless. Can you? Good morning, good afternoon. So, good morning. Yes. Okay. So last night ended on the 6th. Let's see if it resumes today. Idea being that if I change the date on this one, change 2nd to April 17th. Of course, I'm not checking that the hubs are connected properly. I'm not checking any of that. I'm just assuming that they work. They're all going to still be connected even after shutting the machine down overnight. Is that a safe assumption? Probably not. Oh, there you go. Did refresh. Okay. So we have we have Signal are updating the UI with changes. Awesome. So now if I change this, it won't be immediate, but it will. And as you're watching this, it's like uh, it takes a while, but that's eventual consistency in play. That's fine. Still doesn't solve a major problem, but apparently neither does big software. So there we go. That just load in there. I think I just loaded in there, didn't I? I don't remember seeing that. We go in here. Okay, no requirements. This one. Hit this 27th. I still think I'm getting some inconsistencies in the signal stores on the client where things are not showing and they should. Move this one up to March 27th. And it should move up. Yeah. Okay. I didn't reload though. Okay. So okay. Either way, signal R is working. Things are looking better. That's awesome. So let's get this all committed. These changes committed. Next steps. Deliverable entity store. Apply server update. Apply optimistic update. They've added apply optimistic and apply server update. At this point, move the debug logging. Necessary logs. I'm just going to get it to clean up some of this stuff. I don't want some of this stuff in that. Go over here. So our entity change signal receiver is going to map an event for an entity. I'm not going to change. This is right. This entity changed is a deliverable, not deliverables. This is going to map to a hub. So and then this is accepted entities. This should be accepted hubs. Maybe it should have. Yeah, let's leave it as that. Actually, no, it is correct. It's available hubs. if we're mapping it properly, right? Because the entity is deliverable, the hub is deliverables, language matters. So let's do that. App deliverable. Hub. Again, we come in with entity type. Um, the language is still off there. For hub is okay. We're going to make these next set of changes out of all signal R. So I'm going to stay in these branches. We size that down quite substantially. And sync service, lots of little changes on tracking, reconnection, etc. Okay, push that. Push helps. Get off the mission. Okay, so we stop that running. That's fine. Now we're going to add. We're going to do sprints. Let's follow the same. Going to do sprints, which is a hub that it tries to connect to, but that'll never go anywhere. So we'll never actually add a group called hubs. What this is doing is this is making sure that I can't have the client subscribe to a bunch of hubs that I don't support. This allows me to visualize that. As I start to add these, I'm starting to think about, okay, well, where's the repetition happening here? Where do I need to organize this to make it more readable and less error prone? Because you can see already we are sprints, and that's fine. That should work fine. This now makes that available. Morning, Delta. How you doing? And now if we go to view receivers, if we print receiver, it'll look very similar to this. So we're probably going to end up with something to stop us duplicating here. I will publish receiver and publish publisher. If I've done my job right, I have some broken tests. This is always an entity change signal. This is print. That's that. Print integration. Oh, private read only. Event publisher. For that. That. Yes, that's only. Perfectly legal. So this is me just doing the relevant maintenance to make these more consistent with other styles of tests. This is me just making sure my style is correct. They're all private variables, so fine. Async ask, wait. Um, to inherit from the right thing, otherwise that'll just not do what I think. This is the same thing. So I can make this async ask act. Await. That reads better. So ask. Why are you bringing up that one? Not the one I said to run. That's what I said to run. That not. Now that made me a little bit worried. Let's see. What I've noticed is the unit tests. There you go. See, can fail once failed, and the software will build and no problems arise from it. It occurred to me yesterday the bug with transient is in there in part because of integration tests. How so? Oh, hold on. No, it wouldn't. If I'd have created an integration test that says can save the same object back to back, maybe. Not an integration test you would naturally write though, until you saw the behavior. I could have used the integration test to prove it. Well, the test isn't real. The test isn't something that um, Cypress test would catch it, but I wouldn't agree with Cypress test because, well, I don't disagree that a test would have caught it. That's what a test would be. But I don't think that would have been caught until I saw it actually happen anyway. I wouldn't have written a test for it. Uh, brain framework. Like comment null deliverable. Test on an API endpoint would catch it, I think, because it involves a second right. It. I mean we or I. Yeah, it's the second. It's the second save that failed, not the first. The first fail. The first pass. I wouldn't think to write a test naturally that I can save the same object back to back. There's no reason to suspect that if it fails once, it's going to fail the second time in the normal cursor thing. The problem there was it was leaving a DB context sat. Fact. Monitor, you are driving me crazy. Yeah. Now, if I had an integration testing structure in place for that, I would then be able to go and validate that quickly. But again, it's a strange use case, naturally. So, sorry, I'm just trying to fix my monitor. My monitor keeps flashing. It's back to me. So why is this breaking? Item integration event is published. Come to deliverable. Push integration. Oh, because this deliverable is coming back null. Okay. Why is the deliverable coming back null? Repository returns deliverable. Oh. Right. Range. I was watching Ted yesterday do the same some scaling work. He's making the same mistakes I was. In what way? I mean, fun fact: we're all destined to repeat the same mistakes. Why we learn, right? That's why we watch other people do what they're doing. Not using, not realizing garbage collection. Fair enough. How you cannot be null? How's it null? What am I missing? Range. Publish integration. This should get us back. Be any deliverable by identifier with no tracking spec. This should not return null. And it gets here because it's actually invoking it. It's doing the act. It doesn't matter what this identifier is. But a very large number of events in a variable list, that's generally it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, those lessons you learn as you do, right? You see a situation, you come up against a situation, the same way as the test we were just talking about, right? You come up against a situation that you haven't met before, you learn from it, right? And even if you pass that knowledge on to someone else, it doesn't mean they get to understand it straight away until they see the problem. If they're coming up against a problem and you go, oh, there's a solve for that. Yeah. Sometimes you don't know what you're asking. Well, so um, that's why I prefer, I wouldn't say I love, but I prefer when I'm looking at something to be looking at code rather than talking ideas. Because I think code makes much more sense. Um, Fish, hello. How you doing? How are things? So, is this failing? A, we're calling it planning item. That's a bad idea. That's fine. The file. Turning deliverable. back to planning items. Ah, planning. I'm not bad today. Not doing bad. Better than yesterday evening. you you saw that I got everything working right, though. Huh? You went to bed earlier, so I don't know if you saw the beginning of the stream. Deliverable integration event burnt published. You're too grumpy. Wow. Been using Rider for 4 months. It's good. I like Rider. I think it's a great IDE. I hope that JetBrains continue to improve on it. Don't let it fall Visual Studio away. I mean, not adding. I mean, there's clearly a lot you can plug into it, but they don't try and make this do too much. Kind of make it faster. I might switch to VS Code due to AI and the plugins. Yeah, I'm okay using my terminal right this second, and obviously I'm not using AI for this piece. Yes. Okay. Deliverable integration event is published. But this returned a null. How are you returning a null? The only way that can be null is if this object's wrong. It, it's only because of the investment, and it's because this is one of those strange times in our history as developers where the business is really stepping into what we do, right? Because they're invested in these tools because every company it's the thing that everyone needs to have. It's the thing that, like, when it came to AWS, right? Once the cloud became a thing, right? Um, Companies were like, we need to use the cloud. What's using the cloud? Oh, I don't know what that is. You need to go figure out how to use a cloud. The developers would go off and figure out cloud, but they still owned what was there, and they could say, "Yeah, we're in the cloud now," right? Um, but the developers and the engineers still controlled that process very much. This everyone knows AI now. Everyone has this thing, and they can. There's a tangible, like, look, it did this thing for us. Oh, look, it sped us up by 50%. Oh, look, they're telling us that we won't need as many developers, so let's not hire as many people, and let's just add AI tools. Um, I think this is probably the biggest shift in what we do. I mean, agile is process, and it was another buzzword similar to cloud, right? But I don't think. I think probably you have to go back to the like 70s and early 80s where you see this sort of shift previously. No, no, agile's just been kind of been around. Um, it's not the same. Um, there's kind of a buzz created by it, but not every company was like, "Oh, we need to use this agile thing," because they didn't learn about it. AI is in the mainstream media day in day out. 1999, I started as a professional dev, so I've seen agile come around. Yeah, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. Yeah, yeah. 27 years I'm at right now. Yeah. So I've seen that shift. I've witnessed some of that. But I think you have to go back probably to the 70s and 80s when we had that much of a shift in like when computers were becoming a thing and businesses knew they needed them because they were advertised everywhere, right? AI is that it's advertised everywhere. Everyone knows, oh, we can just ask the AI and it will give us an answer. So they see that as a solution. And so I think it's a very different thing in that we are being forced to use it by people who don't know what they're asking from us to do. They're just seeing that, oh, we can replace people because these companies are saying we won't need developers or we won't need as many. So hi profits, how you doing? My toilet has AI now. Oh dear. It's a scary time indeed. Build entity. Let's see this properly. Deliverable equals that. I have come to appreciate your perspective on unit tests, by the way, over time, Doa, in that I do believe that um, debugging should be a last resort in unit testing. The test reads correctly. Debugging should be last resort. Okay, so it's deliverable that. That's even more annoying. It did definitely populate deliverable. Yeah, we all do it. I say something to you that I've heard and not quite can't credit who I heard it from. You pass it on to someone else and say, "Oh, I heard this from CBD," right? It natural course. Differences in how you evolve your own opinions around it, right? So that is populating that. So why is this test failing? So in here, when we do this piece, oh, I changed it to be correct. That's why. Dingleberry. I changed it to be correct. Okay, I'll get started then. I always question everything. I always, especially now. I don't just because someone is an expert. I don't assume that they have any more insights into something. I've stopped um, believing um, as much of that stuff. It has, yeah. There's been very little banter. Doctor and I have just been talking about evolution of AI and that I was programming way back in the last century. Wow, wow. I have no sense of humor, but you're funny. You get out. These things ask. Wait, that's not going to make a difference to the test failing. Um, into serious topics on what programming is like in the time of the dinosaurs. Make an extension. Do I want an existential crisis? Go on. We'll accept one. Okay, so let's run this test and see where it fails. Oh, an assigned project has changed. Object of type system string cannot be converted to deliverable status. Object of type string cannot be converted to. That's because that is deliverable status. Actually, your brain is two brains. If you sever the connection between them, they act independently. does that give you a different personality depending on which side you activate? How does that work? I get that, but if your brain is two brains, then they have different memories and different. So how do you, unless one side stores memory, in which case you don't have much. They're totally different people. Actually, in the middle, coordinate them. Senses disagree with each other. That way, you get racked with indecision. All of these are going to fail for the same. When two sides of your brain are in conflict. Oh, oh. Almost did it. Almost said it. Nice. I watched that AI video. Oh, not the AI video. The well, kind of the AI video. The um um deliverable attack thing yesterday. Deliverable. You know what I mean? You know the video I'm talking about. That was both uh, fascinating and terrifying at the same time. When I finally get to write an integration test for this system, the tests are going to explode. I need to make sure that I'm being bad on some of these, right? Um, I am. I need to make sure I'm running unit tests more frequently. I'm not making them. What? No, values differ. Interesting. I got no broke them all. Not what I expected to be doing today. The fun thing is, I don't actually have to do this. I can test the thing. Test. Oh, actually, he's saying brain too often. uh, yeah. So line 54. The main events deliverable updated. Uh, that needs to be deliverable identifier. I got rid of all the planning item stuff, but clearly not. Planning application tests. That values differ. Update is made. Deliverable update. So the problem here is that when I go through this, I'm not doing what I expect to be doing. So this is concerning updated deliverables when assigned projects are changed. This should have no bearing on whether this event fires. The only thing I can think of is that We're passing the deliverable, update deliverable. So we're returning not found. Oh, because that's, wait, I'm doing the same thing. Huh? Getting not found. Oh no, we're getting values different now. No, actual and not found. Expected OK got not found. So the only way that works is if we get a missing. Oh man. Where I've changed. Oh, of course. I changed update deliverable. This will pass now. Yep, same problem. So my challenge, my personal challenge here is to make sure I am more stringent and thorough on running my unit tests when I change code. I probably want to put. The scary thing is if I turn on auto run, then these tests are always running. That's going to be quite the challenge. What layout? Find the top. Right now, there's only unit tests. So they're at the application layer. Classes that call classes that call classes by the mean class level. Now I'm dealing with a handler more than often, verifying that given the behavior being passed into the handler from the command. Hey Pam, good morning. Race is hard to tell. Write them at the top class level. Again, I'm using a lot of mocks, just testing a single subject. So classes that call classes are not testing those behaviors. Great. Yes. Status. Now, right, naming, global. So now, finally there. Run this. So for me, what this means is I need to get into a better habit with um, getting into a better habit. I need to train that muscle. It would have failed to merge, etc. Well, I'm going to avoid it. Kind of very present in what we do right now. So I have a few Max 395s to use now. So I'll be playing with those. We will be playing with them. And it will be silly of me not to be looking at local LLMs. near future with this tool, it would be craziness. I have a lot of ideas, but the problem is I've got to decide. I want to get to the deliverable phase of this, get this to a point where I can deploy it and people can play with it, and then divert for several months onto what does AI look for this. I have several machines that are spare. I think they turn off subs, that turn off ads, which stop that yet. Considering the amount of time I stream, I appreciate the subs. Has helped me pay for hardware and stuff in the past. At the same time, I think the person asking a question immediately getting hit with an ad. Yeah, sadly, timing. We need to get an LLM given that windsurf totally nerfed their plans for personal hobbyist use. What do you think? I haven't really discovered. I mean, again, I'm spending so that I can do this. I'm spending $100 a month using Claude right now. Claude for code, night and day better. Leaning towards GitHub Copilot myself. I have it for work. $10 a month is economical, but it's not as full features. Windsurf, I prefer at work, but its pricing is. Yeah, I spend $100 personally on Claude, and I have a Copilot subscription as well. So, no. But if you look at the results that Claude Code will give you over GitHub with Opus, it's not the same. It's very strange. Oh, okay. So we're back to. It has a Claude model, but I don't believe it's the same Claude model. I can't tell you why. Those people I've talked to that have played with those differences. Okay, so we do this and this. Does this work first time? No, because apparently I can't edit the freaking sprint. Right. Cost of request cause all the places are playing. Topic context window. Franhorn. Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for 78 months. We've been doing this a long time. The cost of request because all these places are paying Anthropic. Context windows and robust tooling really do help. A lot that happens on local projects. Yeah. Um, You've been around here for pretty much as long, so you're one of the first to join, right? You're an early join. You hold on. Yeah, following since June 8th, 2019. Why don't you have a first then? Did you not get out of the? Did you just miss the? Uh, yep, pre-COVID. Yeah, Stranhorn following since May 26th, 2019. So a month before you. He is an sub 20 streamer. Oh, not done. So when I started doing this, like getting back into this, and I'd played with Claude, I was like, what does the $100 Claude model give me? Because I was running out of those tokens on the $20 one almost immediately. I could burn through them in a matter of minutes. Um, I went to the $100 version, and I have yet to even hit 50% of my usage. But for $100, I'm using it a lot, right? I just I'll show it. I just completely wrote my game library app in a couple of days with no hand coding. The code is horrendous. There is a lot of code I would change, but um, it does work, right? So I have my charts, I have the collection, I can scroll through the collection, I can bring up details on games, I can link by GDB, I can see similar games, I can see pricing, value on the games. There's no hand coding here whatsoever. I can wish list items, I can share that wish list, right? It's all there. All the functionality is there for me to totally AI coded. There's no way I could have done that on the $20. But that side project now is not a side project I need to worry about. I can do barcode scanning in it. So as I get a new game, I can scan the barcode, I can enter the details and save it. And I should get a wife. No one watches my money to the $100 level. It also depends on the wife. My wife does not really care about me doing this. So, and I've told her, I tell her I'm spending $100 a month. Um, Opus, Press and Windsurf, Prober, my daily allotment. Yep, I justify. The work tracks Claude. I stopped using Google for questions and started using Claude. Get credit for using AI. You get a wife. um, that didn't update, by the way, so that's not tracking. Yeah, that fell with a 403. That's fine. Okay, so print. Did we do the mapping before? I miss a piece over here. Divas, sprint to sprint. Did that part. Did this part where we said I accept sprints. I mean, yeah, we can also develop self-discipline, right? I'm 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 poor at that part. So let's actually go and look at topics, deliverable topic. 20 minutes. Let's see what happens. If this kicks me out in 20 minutes, I'm going to be upset because this Red Panda has been so much easier to use. And I'm not paying an enterprise license for a personal project. 326, deliverable. Okay, we didn't get the sprint change there. Why didn't we get the sprint change? Did we get the sprint update? We didn't get a message on sprints. That's interesting. Oh, we wouldn't get a message on sprints. We wouldn't get a message on sprints, would we? Again, not necessarily. Don't make sweeping assessments. My wife generally says that talk to me at 10K. Oh, hey, that's way too much. Red Panda is a Kafka compatible application, but it scales a little better, so I can host it um, a little simpler. It's a much cleaner way of dealing with Kafka. So it's not Kafka, but it's Kafka compatible. So it's yeah, but it's also got it had Sassel turned on by default, so I've got security in there now. At least simple security, but security. Um, yeah. Yeah. But I'm hoping this tool doesn't go away in about 20 minutes. Kafka overkill. No, not considering my goals when I started this project. My goal was very much one of building something realistic, building something I cared about, building something that tested some of the things I've been learning over the last 5 or so years and understanding them more deeply. So this ticks all the right boxes. So it's not overkill. Is Kafka overkill if I was developing this to try and get it out there quickly? Probably. There's a lot of infrastructure costs. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things to keep in mind. So as a solo dev, I wouldn't recommend this at all. But this is not just about me building a product. This is about me learning how to build this product, how I might build a real product. If asked tomorrow to build a scalable product, what tools do I have available? So this is serving many purposes. So what Kafka gives me here is distributed data, so I can deal with things in different ways. I can bring components out and change them entirely. If I want to build a completely different view on the same data, I can create another view project over here and um, uh, completely isolated from the rest of my system. Right? I don't have to change a part of my system to build something new. So there's a lot of reasons why Kafka is great here. Kafka backs the entire application. Um, yeah, I haven't printed it out and put it on the fridge. So is Kafka overkill? Absolutely. If I was trying to get this product to market rapidly, but this is doing what I wanted to do, and it's helped me understand a lot more about how to use it. The next thing I need to do is put in Kafka schema so that I can't break apart the system if I don't update it. Um, its model. So that's not going to do what I think it's going to do, because if I move over here, go to implementation, left sprints, left deliverable, join sprints. That's not going to give me an update on a sprint. Like an example of a choice that's made. Sometimes I have a similar diagram for working for it, and now it's becoming too hard to follow. Hard to follow, not too hard to follow. But I found the Copilot chat in GitHub can actually get pretty good results on the debugging. Huh. Yeah, I think again, what we're trying to do right now, what we're trying to learn right now, is how do we use those tools effectively, and also businesses need to understand that we are using them. We're just not using them the way they think we're using them. We're speeding up a lot of different things, right? There are times when we can let it code for us. There are times when we shouldn't let it code for us. Again, I'm not even looking at the code for the GameStack app. It works. It does what it needs to do. I've tested it with multiple users. I've tested it. My next test will be Saturday morning to see if my schedule worked and it automatically updates its data. But there are things we can do that save a lot of time. There's a lot of learning we can ask questions with context on. So if we need to know something, I validated some of these ideas and got my terminology better aligned, which means that I now understand them more deeply, but I also can talk about them using the right language. Um, there are things that it helps us with. And I think that's the thing that's missed. I have a dilemma now. This is why you build bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, and you validate your assumptions. So my sprint doesn't get updated when a deliverable changes. There's no need for the sprint to get updated. The deliverable changed, but this does not listen to deliverables or to tasks. The task gets updated. Okay. Right, I've used it a few times to code features. Did a pretty good job, but it was not much different. dealing with a coworker. You still have to be pretty diligent in reviews, asking questions. Yeah, and what we call slop is, you know, the AI combining several different techniques that it's learned from code it's looked at that could have come from. It doesn't naturally attach. Um, if you just ask it a question, it doesn't actually attach a skill level to that code. Um, I believe it's because you generated slop before I. Depends on what code it's looking at. If it's looking at only your code base when it analyzes things, yeah, then absolutely you generated slop before. But it from a fresh code base that it's written, the code is pretty bad. I think writing code by AI and then reviewing it with AI is well, that's the argument for multiple AI, right? So you put together um, different tools and different again the different models have different training, right? So again, there's a code focused model, there's a research focused model, there's the different model focuses you give you um, different perspective. Gotcha. Yeah, but I think a lot of people, a lot of developers, do not understand how to use these tools effectively. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a massive amount of flop sat there being products for years, and then we're going to have to go in and fix some of these things. I still think there's a consulting business on the other side of this. We just got to keep our skill sets, and that's again using those tools, using the fact that AI can give you questions to answers to questions and questions as well. By the way, to things you didn't like comprehend or didn't understand before, and you've been able to research more pointedly, will give you a better ability to grasp some of these concepts and then apply them. We have to keep learning. We cannot stop learning. Okay, so I said sprints. Sprints was not the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do in terms of there will be an update to sprints, but yeah, not in this case. Um, so what I've done there, what I'm doing there is I'm actually telling Board to go and make the client use a tasks hub. Now I'm going to do the backend code while that's doing that. And again, this is the time saving that I'm getting. I could use Claude on the backend, but I refused. This is again for what this is. This is my baby, right? This is my labor of love. I do not want to let a tool go through and change those things I understand in great depth. So when we edit a task, so in the boards, they're not deliverables anymore. They're tasks of a deliverable. And the tasks are what change. So what we need to do here is introduce the task. So let me do this. Sprints are still fine. We do need to update sprints, right? That's fine. Um, sprints. Oh, Joel, good morning. Good. Publish. And I need to go back and again, I have right now a GraphQL WebSocket open, actually doing almost exactly the same thing, but for deliverables at least. I need to go back and remove that piece out later. And that removes a service bus component. Pretty much removes a service bus right this second. I'm starting to, what I'm doing is I'm evolving my appreciation for, I'm not using Kafka necessarily as this service bus. I'm using it to trigger off the data changes, and the data changes I can imply at any level. What happened. In this case, I'm using the view and publishing a Kafka message. I could send a command to the service bus, but it's also a stream of things that happened. So it's not the worst thing in the world. And later on, what I'll do is I'll consolidate some of these down. So similar to the sprint receiver, take this, take that, to my event publisher, and that task. And you can see how repetitive this is already. I put action on there. There's very little I can do about action because at this level, I don't know whether I've seen it before. So it's always an update. So we'll revisit that later. So now a task. Did I have any tests? I didn't have tests around this. That's fine. These are really dumb tests as well. These are, I got objects, I updated objects. That's it. There's not much behavior side of the world. So I now go and change the view over here. So receiver to task, tasks. So entity to hubs. So the task entity will map to the tasks hub. Tasks. Now we run. See what happens. I've got to wait for it all to start up. So I'm not just sat here just silently contemplating life. Fine. Now again, there's a lot of complication in this piece, right? There's now, we've got 19 services running, 20 including the app host itself. Right? So we have 19 services running to achieve a lot of this stuff. Some of these pieces aren't actually functional yet. The notifications piece is still something I'm working on. This signal R piece will actually set me up for that as well, which is good. My changes piece needs more work. Need to start introducing that again. So early on in the process, I had the thing where it say, "Oh, this is what's different," and it would show you, "Hey, these things changed on this object." By the way, we need to introduce that back again. Nice. I've not seen a spy dashboard with that much on it in anything yet. Yeah, yeah, it's working. I want to work on grouping. I need to learn a little bit more about layout and stuff because again, these are all view, that's tenant management, tasks, planning, communications. These are different services. Planning only has one service. That's the API. So if you see in these lists, if you see just the name, the single name, that's the API, and everything else is consumers and extra services. I call that internal identity. That shouldn't be internal identity. That should be internal auth Z or authorization stuff. That's auth gateway. Yeah, and the changes. This entity changes is the signal R hub. Okay, 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Okay, implementation boards. Implementation boards. Join group tasks. Join group tasks. There we go. So go here. Go here. Drag that over there. The downside when you have uh, um, oh, there you go. Wait, there we go. We have an update. And I know this is not exactly a revolutionary demo. I know this is not, no, world changing, but it is a step forward in the way the application works and behaves. Um, and you wouldn't sit watching these side by side in reality, would you? Oh, okay. So we have consistency there. That's awesome. I'm in a different board. I don't want to see that refresh. I don't want to see a refresh on there. That's the problem, and I think I will do. That would be bad. The good news is this one refreshes as well, so I know when it hits. Ah, yeah. Uh, how can I know that? I only want to refresh you client really looking print. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask it to um, see if it can validate that I'm in the same sprint as the one that's been affected. Right. That's that's how we don't have. I don't want a flash on this screen. The flash on this screen is fine. Um, that momentary load of get me the current status of the sprint is changed. Fine. Um, yeah, it gets the sprint. Okay. Rare, but I'm actually on time early. Yeah, hanging around for a bit. It's awesome. Okay, so if I'm in sprint one here and I'm in new sprint there and I move this to in progress, you don't want to see the spinning cycle there. Do over here. Most awkward stream ever. I'm still seeing, you know, because if neither the user is actively viewing a sprint, the updated task belongs to that sprint. If neither condition is met, the event is silently ignored. No fetch, no patch, no re-render. The issue is that even though we skip the patch results, the fetch one API call still fires and tasks store load by sprint pending, which triggers a sprint. Actually, wait, we're not calling the. This is what it's actually saying. We're not calling load by sprint for non-delete events. We're calling fetch one directly, but fetch one itself doesn't set pending status. When it's likely the fetch one calling task service still fires a network request. So again, if you read the output of these things, it reads like someone trying to discover what's wrong and trying to bug fix. And I think that's one of the things we assume is um, that it's perfect because it's a machine, but ultimately it's just parsing this bunch of different disparate pieces and trying to put context to them based upon what it's taught. Um, The problem is it was always triggering the fetch of that thing to get the current status. Yeah, so the fix, check the store first, only fetch if the task already exists in the store and belongs to the current sprint. Right. The challenge will be there if I add a task to a sprint from another screen, it isn't going to refresh. Which I think again is a behavior we do see in other products. So if we move that back now, no spinner, please no spinner. Do you like software development and learning how people build real applications? Checking out maybe builds his barely fit app on stream and other things. Great user of AI. Hopefully streaming today. I'll stream today. Wow. Forward to it. That's the only person does or even show up. Fucking okay. So that didn't did that work? I wasn't looking. I was distracted. No. Okay. Anyone notice? We should see a cycle on that screen, but not on that screen. That's fine. In nothing now? Come on. Yeah. Again, I can't recommend highly enough setting a schedule. Just get a schedule, stick to your schedule, limit your time. I know it's great to sit there and I would sit here and stream all day if I could. I genuinely would, but um yeah, it's not practical. I have impulse control issues. I just have a job as well. I have to be there and I have to can't miss that. And then on the evenings, I have my wife and daughter sat there. That wasn't. I realized what I said there. I apologize. But two updates. That's interesting. Um, okay, double rubbing. But yeah. So um, yeah, my impulse control is limited by. I could hear my wife last night getting very upset that I was running half an hour late. It, it was getting more and more audible that I was in the bad books. So yeah, but I was having fun trying to get this to work. So that does refresh. If I'm not looking at the sprint, and I only change my own sprint, they just not bother and pretend he's one of us with his angry wife. Uh, well, I apologize, but my point is, set yourself a schedule, stick to your schedule, be rigid on it, overcome the impulse control because it will help you. It will help with the burnout. You don't have to stream every single day for 8 hours, right? That's too much. Okay, so now it doesn't refresh if I'm the only one viewing it. It's only me. That's interesting. So that's not doing the refresh at all. Okay, we have some success there. That's awesome. That is awesome. Actually, before I do that, before I shut that out, no errors. Okay. Your Red Panda license has expired. How do I disable the paid features? Just took me to a page. Oh, configure console. That's what it's taking me to. Uh, right. I don't have a license. You can disable. Blah, 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 blah. Disable enterprise features. Disable enterprise. Go to the following table. Okay, so how do I disable it? Can I just? I don't have to toggle 15 different features off, right? How do I start community? On. So Red Panda, Docker Compose. Right. Oh, not in there. Audit logging. Oh, enable. There's got to be some configuration in here that says, "Yep, we're using enterprise." Surely. What do I change? Docker Compose for Red Panda. Nope. That's it. Red Panda, Red Panda, Red Panda data. Oh, it's a community edition. Oh. Ooh. Image. Red Panda data, Red Panda is the community edition by default. Well, clearly not. Well, I went a bit overkill on this. I started up 3 brokers. all on the same machine, which is kind of a waste of energy. Because I'm having 3 running processes that are so you create a number of brokers to be able to scale more and more. You create topics and partitions, and it all kind of cascades out. So you can add more brokers, which gets you higher throughput. And oops, sorry, got my phone. Um, yeah, but what I've got to figure out is how to turn off that feature is nice. Red Panda overall is just a nicer interface for you after. The community is back. Ads of okay, so we need to out hitting out. Well, does anyone dev stream anymore? Pretty much everyone is either a game dev. Open to suggestions, by the way. Like it would be good to go from this stream to someone developing software. Right? That's kind of like nice to take you onto that, but okay, figure that out in a second. A few minutes. So I'm going to figure out that. That's not going to stop me from using Red Panda, I don't think. I think it just stops me from using the console. Fine. So this should still work. Backlog. Make sure we didn't break anything. May 14th. So go in here, and if I edit this 16th, save that. That should. Hey Palm, thank you for coming and hanging out. Have a great day. May it be a productive one. Such an outlook. Come on, refresh. There we go. So we have things synchronized now. So few areas of the application. Now, again, I now have to make this a part of my testing, which is going to take its time. Right. So I probably need to start looking at doing UI testing because or getting machines to do AI testing, to be quite frank. Because when I go and deliver a new feature now, not only do I have to think about, oh well, I have the back end of the database, the messaging, all the things that are going on. I also need to think about the behavior on the client. Do I need to synchronize this behavior? Do I need to notify people when things change? Do I need the hub there? Right. Every time I add more behavior to the overall system, I have to increase my test plan. But I should understand the pieces more, which is again, if you're doing agile, right, if you're doing it right, you understand what you're trying to build. You understand what questions you have and what pieces you're missing. And knowing all these things is something that's essential for any developer because you have to if you're being asked to size things, you have to know what you're sizing. You can't just say, yeah, I think I know what's there. And be like, oh, that's a that'll take me half a day. That'll take me three points, right? 3 points equates to like 2 days, right? You don't know. So keeping this mental list of what is involved in adding a feature to your system is important. But again, from a testing perspective, you saw at the beginning of the stream or early in the stream that I clearly have some gaps in my unit testing and my behavior there. So I need to correct that. I need to make sure that I'm being more rigid on the unit test. Otherwise, I'm going to miss more and more things. There was no behavioral problems there. They were unit tests that were failing. But yeah, it's part of doing this. So, and it's why I'm building the software in the way I am. I want to encourage asking questions at the right pieces. But a review, another one that's going to need updating, right? If I go into here at a task, then this is why we're in this review phase. Okay, so very game dev. Where do we go today? Like, my numbers are dropping quick. People leaving, going to work. Wish. Yeah, that's all that matters, and I appreciate that. Who would you like to go see? Got Vibe Coders. Vibe Coder. Game. I'm here now, though. Yep, good timing. Don't mind, I need to disappear a minute. I'll trust you to pick someone good. A lot of pressure on that. There's no one streaming. My list of fellow streamers is small. People that I know to go to. C#.net. Game. I don't know. We're going to have to go raid someone, though, because I need to leave. So, this is the last stream of this week. Over the weekend, I intend to start planning out the delivery part of this. So, delivery is making releases, defining what happens when a card. I've got to think through things like what happens when a task gets finished in here. This UI needs updating as well. I need to be able to click on these and see the details. What happens when something gets completed, right? How do you say, yeah, this is pending release now, right? Do we flag it? Do we label a release on the actual task? All these little questions that I now need to answer and go through this workflow of, considering how I want delivery to actually start to work. So delivery being, I define a release, then I can go and tag the things that I expect to be in that release. I can see where they are. So I'll be able to see kind of a Kanban board of where they are in the process, something like that. That's my idea. And when the release is ready, you can say, okay, is it tested? Yep, it is. Okay, we're ready to release this. We've got a branch for UAT. I might actually, as part of this, start looking at GitHub integration so we can start to see, oh, look, it's got a branch attached to it. That might be kind of an interesting thing to look at. So, as always, if you're new to the stream, if you've just been hanging out, there is a Discord linked in the cards below. You're more than welcome to join the Discord. We do hang out there several times a week in voice chat, talk about random things. Not the busiest Discord in the world, but there are people in there and want to do. So we are going to raid a quiet stream. We're going to go and take our numbers up to Sinisperry, developing game stuff. I have no headphones in, so that's a good thing to kind of fix before I go into a stream. So yeah, let's go raid Sinisperry, and I will be back on Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, so thank you all for joining. Take care. Have a great weekend. Early, sorry. Have a great one, and see you again soon. Take care, all.